BNNSradio.com on your computer or your mobile device and give us a listen. That's BNNSradio.com. Uncle Bill would like to apologize in advance for whatever he may say tomorrow. The Morning Show with Uncle Bill on BNNS Radio.
I was looking through some photographs of friends who've gone before. Everyone a story there to tell of happy times and love so strong it would take your breath away. And each one of those memories I knew well. But now life is not so long and the body's not that strong. You just turn around and they're gone. Another hero is headed home. The measure of a man ain't what he takes, it's what he gives and what he makes. A life of love throughout the years. By the time a man has grown, it's what he gives and what he makes. A life of love throughout the years. By the it's what he gives and what he makes. A life of love throughout the years. But it's enough to see you through. 'Cause one day you'll turn around and you'll be gone. Another hero is headed home. Now life is not so long, 'cause this body's not that strong. One day you'll turn around and you'll be gone. Another hero is headed home. Another hero has made it home.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Morning Show with Uncle Bill. This is the 10th day of July, 2017. I was having a conversation with our secretary here at the church, our office administrator, and, we both commented that, and she said she heard, comments from other people, and I have too, as how fast this summer is going. I mean, we're just days away from the Boone County Fair, and that'll be coming up August 8th. And boy, once the fair hits, it's over. Summer's over. I mean, everybody considers that as our turning point in Boone County. When the fair's over, well, and it is shortly thereafter, school starts, and we're into a new season. I mean, it's just absolutely flying by. And oh boy, I'm your host, Uncle Bill, or Bill Vallant, also known as Uncle Bill of BNNS Radio, where you can get real-time answers to all your needs spiritually, news-wise, and sometimes sports-wise and otherwise. So we have it all here on BNNS Radio. back from primarily because of the 4th of July celebration. Most people, or a lot of people, had Monday off and Tuesday because of the 4th of July holiday. And it would have been probably, well, I can't say it because it would be an insult to those that were available to listen on Monday, but it was a choice that we took, and we decided it was a staff decision, and that's what happened. So we're back, and we're raring to go. And my wife asked me. She said, "How did it feel to have the week off?" And I said, "Well, it was kind of nice, but She said, "Well, did you miss the radio?" And I said, "Well, yes, I did. I actually, when I am away from the radio for a week, I do miss it. There are certain things about certainly getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and starting all the prep work and coming down to the station and doing all the things that I do is a task, but it is fun. It is worth it, and we've got some good, faithful listeners out there and people that really enjoy the show. So I feel like I'm doing a service not only to them, but to my wife by getting out of her hair for a while. And I also do service to myself because I get out, keeps me young, keeps my mind active. And so that's what we do. And plus, I enjoy the people in the chat box, keeping everybody informed. And also to you folks out there on YouTube. We are finally broadcasting on YouTube, and I do appreciate each and every follower, listener that gets onto YouTube and becomes a faithful follower of this show. And I hope you do. Some days are better than others, but for the most part, we've got a good following of people, and we hope that you become a faithful follower as well. One of the things that I ran across that I thought was very interesting, and this was a Jewish proverb that I ran across. It says, "What you don't see with your eyes, don't witness with your mouth." I thought that was kind of interesting. What you don't see with your eyes, don't witness with your mouth. So if you don't know what's going on, keep your mouth shut. And I think that's generally the case of most of our mainstream media today, is that they don't know what's going on, so they shouldn't be witnessing it with their mouth. I don't know. I just felt like that was actually one of those very prominent in proverbs that really made a lot of sense. Another famous first is that, and I didn't know this, that scientists have traced the first confirmed AIDS-related death to Africa clear back to 1959. I did not realize AIDS went back that far. It was acquired immune deficiency syndrome was first identified in medical literature in June of 1982 in an article by Dr. Michael Gottlieb and colleagues that appeared in a Centers for Disease Control publication. The AIDS epidemic is one of the most significant health-related events in the 20th century. And it has been making headlines ever since 1989, or 1982, but you really don't hear much about it anymore, but it goes all the way back to 1959. Right now in Belvedere, Illinois, it is hazy, it is overcast, and about 4 o'clock this morning, maybe a little bit earlier than that, we started having thunder boomers rumble through town. And it wasn't enough to cause any. We didn't get the wind that they thought we were going to have. I mean, there were supposed to be some really high, significant winds. In fact, there was a wind warning out for our area, but it did not develop. However, the thunders came through at about 3:30. I woke up at 4 o'clock and it was thundering. And my wife also woke up, and I asked her, I said, did it storm through the night? And she said no, because they were actually supposed to hit around midnight. But most of the big stuff went around us, which we're thankful for. But with the rain we got was really nice, because we're into first part of July, almost mid-July, and everything is still green and beautiful, and the grass is nice and fresh. It doesn't have that crumbly, crunchy feeling that we have when it starts to dry out, but it is really nice. It hampers the project that I got going on at the house right now, but we do need the rain, and we're thankful for that. Right now, 67 degrees in Belvedere under hazy, overcast skies. Winds are out of the southeast at 7 miles per hour. The humidity's way up there at 90%, and today we are expecting a high of 81 degrees with thunderstorms, and it's going to be on and off, kind of a hit and miss, but it is 100% chance that we're going to have rain on and off, but widely scattered thunderstorms throughout the day. So according to the map, it looks like most of it's going to go north and south of us again, but we're going to get rain on and off all day today. Winds out of the southwest, easy for me to say, winds out of the southwest at 13 miles per hour. And that does it for the weather, and we'll have more on that as we progress on through this morning. I guess the only thing I have left to do without further ado, I guess.
Big D, co-host on the morning show with Uncle Bill, right here on BNNS Radio. You'll wonder how you ever got along without him.
Dun, dun, dun.
Good morning.
And still doesn't know how to control the buttons on his board.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Well,
Were we off in the corner of the basement?
no, I was doing something that you'll only see in the finished product.
Also joining us all the way from Omaha is our producer, or our research specialist, and Craig is in there early this morning. Good morning, Craig.
Morning, both Daryl and Bill.
You what?
I said good morning, both Daryl and Bill.
Oh,
I guess everyone else out there.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I'm still, Bill, I'm still sitting here chuckling
Why?
over that little diatribe you were doing.
What diatribe?
Oh, I just love getting up at 4 in the morning, and because, you know, our listeners and doing, and I was almost in tears laughing.
Why?
Because it being up at 4 in the morning, I mean, I did that for long enough in the military and the fire department. There's nothing out there at 4 in the morning.
Right. I didn't say that.
There's nothing going on at 4 in the morning. Look,
Yeah.
let's clarify something, folks. Uncle Bill gets up at 4 in the morning, but it's coffee and staring at the wall until 5:30.
No.
Because he just...
No. Let me explain something to you, sir. I get out of bed. I may or may not go to the bathroom first, but then I go directly to my corner and I turn on my computer, and by the time I get my cup of coffee, the computer is booted up and I immediately start doing research for the show. So by 10 after 4, I am completely into research.
Yep. And hadn't found his first article until 5:44.
No. I had my two main articles for today's show. I had them actually on Thursday.
It being up at 4 in the morning is like being out after midnight. There's not much going on.
I know there's nothing going on outside.
Including in the Bill Vallant studios.
What is this? Insult the show host morning after we're gone for a week? It's nothing like, gee, Bill, I miss seeing you all week, or anything. Nothing like that.
I'm sorry, who are you? No, hey, out here where we live, though, we get up in the morning, we get coffee, and Big Mama does it earlier than I do. We go sit out on the back porch, and we watch nature television.
I just got a thing flashed across my screen. Today is National I Care About You Today Day.
They lied.
I'm supposed to care about you today.
Oh, well.
And I do. I care about all my listeners.
Yeah, your listeners. You don't give a flip about the co-host. No, it sounds like you had a good week off. You had a good 4th.
We did. We got to go to the lake. Yeah. And yesterday I had a pepper, what'd they call it? Pepper caked New York strip steak.
Pepper cake New York strip steak?
It was cooked in pepper, and I mean pepper. Woo! It was definitely a Cajun dish.
Oh, a black peppercorn steak.
Yes.
Yeah, those are good.
Oh, it was. My throat didn't like it so much, but it was tasty.
Oh, yeah.
Although New York strip has a little more gristle, more, that stuff in it than I like, like in a good sirloin or something like that, or a good prime, but it was good. It was very flavorful, cooked just exactly the way I liked it. And I commend the company the restaurant we went to. So, Craig, what'd you do over the weekend? Not a good time to talk to Craig.
Sorry, I had a mouthful of apple fritter.
See, it pays to look at the monitor before I ask questions.
You said you had a steak. I went out for prime rib at Texas Roadhouse. And got their big prime rib. It had to be like 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. Absolutely fabulous. In fact, that's going to be my lunch today, the rest of it.
Our Texas Roadhouse closed up.
That surprises me. All of them are very busy here.
Not here.
Do you have a major steakhouse there?
Longhorn and what's the other one? I can't think of the other one. We got two.
We've got several Texas Roadhouse here in Omaha, and all of them are packed all the time.
No, I take that back. Texas Roadhouse. We do have a Texas Roadhouse. It was Lone Star. The Lone Star restaurant's the one that closed.
Okay.
I apologize.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Lone Star is being bought out.
Could be. Ours closed up. Wasn't very busy. I don't know if it was due to location or what, but we do have a Longhorn?
Yeah.
And the one we went to, Lone Star.
For those of you.
Wait a minute. Texas Roadhouse and the Longhorn. Okay. I'll get it right sooner or later.
We're fortunate in the fact that we had a Longhorns up in Ackworth, Georgia, right near us, and it was a test kitchen. And I mean everything up there. It was a test kitchen and a training facility, and everything up there was almost perfect. And then we moved down here, and Carrollton's got a Longhorns in it. I don't think we've been to a Texas Roadhouse or any other steakhouse since we found this Longhorns up here. Because we've been to it many times, and the food is always perfectly cooked. I had a cowboy pork chop up there one time that was probably about 1 inch thick, and it was so juicy when it came out. I mean, it was perfectly cooked, but it was so juicy. I thought I was eating watermelon.
Wow.
Yeah, and it just like first bite to last bite, it just the juice, the natural juices in it just flowed. And
now let me ask you a question, because I'm a man of questions. I like to know how people do things. How do you eat and chew at the same time?
Poorly.
Huh?
Poorly.
Portly?
Poorly.
Poorly. Explain yourself.
I can't eat and chew at the same time. I can chew and then eat it.
No. I'm talking about that crap you put below your lower lip.
Bill, that is not a permanent fixture. That's like saying, how do you eat with a coffee cup in your hand?
I have never seen you without a bulging lower lip. Never. Never.
That's my natural face. Quit making fun of it.
Anyway, let's get on to something a little more interesting. I want to say hi to Peggy. Peggy's up around this morning. Peggy, I don't know. Peggy just disappeared for almost 2 weeks, and I don't know. You know, I tried calling her on, at home. I tried calling her, and no answer, and I don't know where she's been out running around. I think she finally found herself a boyfriend or something, because I haven't been able to get a hold of her for 2 weeks.
Oh, my God!
Oh, she's been busy babysitting. Okay. I'll accept that.
Last time I checked, she was a big girl.
I know. Hey, Craig, I have a question.
Shoot.
I keep getting this thing popping up. Have you got it? It's in my private chat. And it says, please tell all the contacts in your messenger list not to accept Jaden K. Smith friendship request. He is a hacker and has, and has the system connected to your Facebook. If one of your contacts accepts it, you will also be hacked, so make sure that all of your friends know it. Thanks. Forward as received. Hold your finger down on the message at the bottom. In the middle, it will say forward. Hit that, then click on the names of those in your list, and it will send to them. Now, is that a scam or is that legit? Do you know?
It's a scam. If you click on that, anything that says click on this, it's not real.
Hey, thank you. But I wouldn't do it because I've gotten it from several family members, and now is it true that if one of my contacts clicks on it, I'm going to get clicked on or hacked on too?
No, you're not going to get. If you clicked on it, you'll be hacked.
Okay.
But if they click on it and you're one of their contacts, it may give them. In fact, I'm guessing it'll give your name, but it's not going to do anything to your account. That's what it is. I'm sure is it's going out and picking up as many names as they can. Never, ever, 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 ever click on a link unless if you went someplace specifically like to download something, fine, click on the link. But otherwise, never click on a link that someone sends you.
Well, see, that was my first instinct when I received it from a non-family member, and I thought, no. When somebody invites you to click on something, that usually, to me, it usually sends up a red flag.
You need to be careful on some of the copy and paste ones, too. Depending if they send it in an HTML format or an email, and it says copy and paste, if you do a Control-A, which would select everything, they can have code embedded in there. And when you copy and paste, you'll also be copying and pasting that Trojan, for lack of another word, that Trojan code.
Well, I very seldom and rarely will share anything on Facebook. not because I think it's unwarranted material or it shouldn't be shared, because some of the stuff I get on Facebook, on my Facebook account, is interesting material, but there are so many people showing up on my list because one of my contacts liked this and it shows up on my Facebook, and I just am very leery of sharing anything because I don't want to pass anything on. I don't want to get anything by clicking on it, and so I usually scan and read, and that's about it.
Try to look at it like this. First, quite a few years now, the saying is, if you leave your house, you automatically assume you're on camera. Well, it's kind of like that on the internet anymore. If you're on the internet doing just about anything, information about you is going out.
I understand that.
It's just a matter of, if you click on something, then you're giving permission for them to access your stuff.
Well, a good example of exactly what you're saying, and for those that may or may not know, I've been on Amazon, I've been on Walmart looking up different things, and now on the right side of my page, I get ads for the exact items that I have been researching.
Good example.
So, yeah, that information went out just because I went to Amazon and looked up an item and priced it. Now I'm getting ads for that. So you got to be careful out there. Before I turn Big D loose, I want to...
and, oh, baby, am I going to get loose.
Okay. But I want to clarify one thing, and this is going to end unless some major development comes up. This is going to end our discussion on global warming. I am so tired of hearing about global warming when there is so much evidence out there that we are not warming up. I want you to listen. It's a 2.5-minute video from the founder of the Weather Channel, and I want you to listen to this. We may discuss it a little bit. Oh, I just got a post. Today is Craig's birthday. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, it is.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Everybody out there, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Craig. Happy birthday to you. I promise you I will not give up my day job.
Well, thank you very much.
Craig. I didn't realize today was your birthday, So my wife probably would have reminded you when I got home, but happy birthday. Anyway, I guess Big D don't feel that way, but I do. Here is a short clip from the founder of the Weather Channel.
Me a denier, that is a word meant to put me down. I'm a skeptic about climate change, and I want to make it darn clear, Mr. Kenny's not a scientist. I am. He's the CEO of the Weather Channel now. I was the founder of the Weather Channel, not the co-founder.
And I'm glad you did, because I am addicted to the Weather Channel. I watch a lot of cable news.
Now, hold on just a minute. I'm not done. And CNN has taken a very strong position on global warming that it is a consensus. Well, there is no consensus in science. Science isn't a vote. Science is about facts. And if you get down to the hard, cold facts, there's no question about it. Climate change is not happening. There is no significant man-made global warming now. There hasn't been any in the past, and there's no reason to expect any in the future. There's a whole lot of baloney, and yes, it has become a big political point of the Democratic Party and part of their platform, and I regret it's become political instead of scientific, but the science is on my side.
I don't think we're going to come to a conclusion about the topic right here. What I do wonder, though, is when you see...
because you wouldn't allow it to happen on CNN, but I'm happy that I got on the air and got a chance to talk to your viewers. Hello, everybody. There is no global warming.
What I do wonder is when you see the government, when you see NASA, when you see other institutions say that 97% of climate scientists agree, do you think they're making it up? What I don't understand is how you square that.
That's a manipulated figure, and let me explain it to you. The government puts out about $2.5 billion directly for climate research every year. It only gives that money to scientists who will produce scientific results that support the global warming hypothesis.
Now, I want to stop it there for just a second, because that is an extremely important point that he just made out. And this does not only pertain, in my opinion, to climate change. The government gives them $2.5 billion a year for them to turn out a report on the claim that we do have climate change or climate warning, global warming.
Hey, Uncle Bill?
Yes, sir.
Also, tell the audience who the gentleman is that's talking.
He's the founder of
the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel. I said that in my intro, and I do not recall his name actually. I'll try to find it.
I know I can't think of his name, but I do know who it is, and he is
John Coleman. And on the video, they have him listed as co-founder, and he made it very clear, I am the founder, not the co-founder. His name is John Coleman. And let's finish the video, and then we'll talk about it.
Of the Democrat Party position. So they don't have any choice. If you're going to get the money, you got to support their position. Therefore, 97% of the scientific reports published support global warming. Why? Because those are the ones the government pays for, and that's where the money is. It's real simple, but that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't make it true. That only makes it bought and paid for. The money goes in circles.
I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to try to refute you on the facts.
That's the truth.
I'll simply say that the vast majority...
Please stand back from this issue and let the two sides be on the air. There are 31,000 scientists who have signed a petition that says it is not valid, that my position is correct. And we'll keep battling, and we will prevail in time.
Okay, and now... this is very, very valid to me, because we have been saying for a long, long time that these companies that get this money, whether it be on climate control, climate change, or miles per gallon for gasoline, or all these other research studies and things, that they have to turn out reports that satisfies the money giver. Otherwise, they get cut off. I mean, if you pay for, well, for example, I'm having a new resurfacing done on my deck at home. Now, if I give this man money and he's not giving me the results that I want, is he going to get paid? I would be a damn fool to pay for something that I did not pay for.
You said that wrong.
What?
A better way, let's use your deck analogy, is you call him over to analyze your deck to say, do I need something done? Of course he's going to say yes, because then he gets the money.
There you go. Thank you for clarifying that. So I've been saying this for years, and I get argument after argument after argument that these people, it's research. And like I said, I think it was 2 weeks ago before we took a week off, is that there's got to be a cure for cancer out there. There's got to be cures for a lot of medical conditions out there. But if they, and I was talking to a friend of mine a week ago, and the list goes on, but I'm just going to use one example, is that we do right now in our technology, we have a cure for our broken road system, the infrastructure of our roads. We have a way of putting down paving that will last for 40 years. No potholes, no cracking, no buckling. No, it just doesn't fall apart. And where's it at? Why aren't we using it? The argument, of course, is, well, if we were to cure all of the highway problems, we would put all the construction workers out of work. Yeah, right. Think of all the roads in the country, in this whole United States. You could put 10,000 people to work for every day for the next million years, and you still wouldn't be able to cover all the roads. Comment.
Well, I'm going to be honest. First of all, I want to say that the gentleman that we're talking about here, I had the opportunity to bump into and talk to for a minute, because the Weather Channel was actually up in Cobb County, Georgia. But he's saying, and I'm going back and I'm probably repeating something you said, Bill. You and I have been saying this for how long? How many times does this so-called consensus of scientists have to be caught rigging the information? I know of 3 stories we've done right here on BNNS Radio where they have been caught out and out lying about the facts. People have actually lost their jobs at universities because of that. It was so bad. And I'm like him. Here we go. Racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, xenophobe, Islamophobe. Well, now we got denier. And you know they've got to be touching a nerve when there's a cry in the science community to have those people who don't buy on to climate change, who question it, to have their credentials stripped from them. Years of work, years of college, everything wiped out because you won't admit climate change is caused strictly by humans. And if you haven't noticed, the growing voice of dissension is starting to get louder. And this man right here is one of them behind the scenes. They would love to have this man just disappear.
Well, I loved his attitude. And he told that CNN commentator, if you just quit saying it, if all these media channels would just quit saying it and promoting it.
Oh, I liked what he told him. He said, guy says, I'm not a scientist. He said, that's right, and you need to back up.
That's right. Oh, I just thought that was a spectacular piece of footage that...
Look who's promoting global warming or climate change. You've got Al Gore, which we've talked about many times. I mean, this guy leaves a bigger carbon footprint than Godzilla, which is his electric bill a month is like $10,000. And the other one, and I'm trying to dig for his name in my memory, I haven't talked about him in so long, is a billionaire that has some seat at the UN who they have put in charge of climate change legislation. And both of these men, if climate change legislation is passed the way they want it, both of them stand to make tens of billions of dollars off of it. That's the first red flag that goes up for me, Bill.
Well, and again, in agreement with you, the one thing that, to me, it all boils down to one thing. And it's always been this way ever since I've been a human being, and that's 72 years. It's all about money. It's always been about money. And the more money you can make by lying or giving people what they want, whether it's truth, fact, fiction, or whatever it is, as long as people get what they want and you can charge whatever you want for that, people are going to do it. Supply and demand. That's all it comes down to. People want it, somebody will give it to them.
Yeah. But the problem is, what gets me though is have you ever thought about why it caught on?
What?
All this global warming crap. Have you ever thought about why it caught on?
It's because, well, I don't know. Sometimes they tell a very convincing story. We believe science because we've been trained as children and educated to believe that science is science. And if science has a theory or a statement about it, becomes fact. And when you think about it, it is it does come off logistical in a sense that with all of the pollution, now I have to concede that, blaming it on cow farts is a little pushy. But when you stop and really analyze the number of cars that are on the road every day, cars, trucks, buses, any combustible machine, factories, airplanes. Just go to FlightWare and look at the number of airplanes that are in the air at any given moment. Have you ever seen the exhaust that comes out of them babies?
Yeah.
So when you think about all the stuff that's being pumped into our, the biggest thing is hairspray. These women and their hairspray is enough to choke a horse. So I mean, that's the biggest culprit, right? No, I'm just having fun. That's not true. But anyway, it's a convincing story, because when you do think about all of the combustible pollutants that are put into the air, one could conceivably believe that it has some way, is somehow destroying those elements that are protecting our planet. But you got to stop and remember, this has been going on for how many years? Well, if the global warming was going at the pace that science says it is, we would all be flooded by now. There would be no more polar caps.
But see,
the Earth would actually be tipping and changing its axis, because the heavy ice melt or water or whatever would offset the balance of the Earth, and I mean, just, I don't know.
I mean, stop and the biggest thing that's got this going are the young people. People who are 25 and younger. That's who's got this going. Because, see, they don't remember, and they don't read, and they don't do research. 35 to 40 years ago, we were told we were having the same discussion. Craig, you were there. Bill, you were there. We had this same discussion, except we were headed for another ice age.
Look at all the big money that Al Gore has made on this, and he was kind of the figurehead.
Oh, and the money, and it's trivial compared to what he can make if we pass cap and tax or cap and trade.
You just said the magic word, Craig. Money.
Yeah.
It's all about money.
But see, this is my point. All these people are out here, oh, global warming, global warming, global warming. But here's a couple of indicators that should have sent a red flag up for everybody. First of all, if people our age are telling you, we've already had this discussion, you might want to step back and ask yourself, oh, well, okay, wait a minute, what happened there? And the other thing is look over the past 10 years. Let's go, Bill, let's go back, let's get Sherman and Peabody and go back in the Wayback Machine to when we started doing shows together. Your show and my show, and they slowly came together. How many things did we used to laugh about that global warming was blamed for?
Well,
remember the kid who was afraid to flush the toilet or drink water because it would be because global warming was causing the droughts in the world at the time, and he was going to take away water from needy people? And this kid damn near died.
Mm-hmm.
What about everything that came down the pike? Oh, we had Hurricane Katrina, and we were going to start having those kind of storms and worse over the next 10 years. And what happened? Nothing.
Well, this myth has been perpetuated throughout the years by people that are professional protesters, people that they want to show the world how enlightened they are, how much more caring they are than the average person. Basically, they're the hippies of the 60s. If most of them, yes, they believe in climate change, then they believe in, they're out there protesting for the homosexuals, for the transgenders, for all of this other stuff they've come up with in the last few years. They want the world they want to tell the world, I'm more caring than you.
Absolutely.
Let me stretch this one more point before we break off here. Is this a strategic move or is this a financial move? Nissan's electric car, the Leaf, was displayed to a next to a charging stand at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit last year in 2016. France, India, and Norway have stated and they've started to embrace electric vehicles over those that run on gasoline and diesel fuel. France is joining a growing movement to force the extinction of vehicles that run on fossil fuels, saying on Thursday that it would aim to end the sale of gasoline and diesel cars by the year 2040. Now you got to remember, you got to think of this. 2040. How many years away is that? I mean, what? 33 years from now.
Oh, and that is almost a segue into a whole different story, by the way, talking about France.
Well, okay, hang on to that thought. We'll cover that. The target is less ambitious than one set by countries like Norway, India, and others. Still coming from a major car-producing country, France's declaration gave additional momentum to efforts, here we go, to fight climate change and urban smog by promoting the use of electric cars. Now, the only part of that statement that I may go along with is urban smog. There are some areas, you take Las Vegas, for example. Las Vegas is in a valley. It sits in a hole in Nevada, surrounded by mountains. Air does not get in and out of Vegas well enough to clear out the smog, and it's a nightmare in there. So urban smog is a problem. It's a big problem in China. And so smog I can accept, but climate change, nah, I don't feel that has an effect. But the timing of the announcement was also significant. A day after the automaker Volvo said it would phase out the internal combustion engine. And during a visit to Europe by President Trump, the announcement by Nicolas Hulot, the French environmental minister, was an expression of European leadership determination to pursue an environmental agenda despite Mr. Trump's repudiation of the Paris Agreement on climate change.
And let's go back to something you said. 23 years to get rid of all internal combustion engines.
Yep, 2040.
Which is a pig in a poke anyway. Because they're already working on other forms of combustible engines, not just electric engines. And in 23 years, I can almost guarantee you something else is going to come down the pike.
Well, I think we have other forms of energy that run much more efficiently than electricity. There are energies out there that we could run cars for months before it needs refueling. But they don't want to do it because it's called, again, it comes down to that evil thing we call money.
Well, here's the thing. We've got cars now that are getting 2 and 3 times the mileage per gallon that they were getting 20, 25 years ago.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the average gas mileage 25 years ago, Bill? For the average car, what was the average gas mileage?
Really don't know.
Most cars were only getting 15 to 18 miles to the gallon.
And your point?
We've got many, many cars that right off the factory showroom are getting over 30 miles to the gallon on the highway.
No.
Really?
We may have some makes, but not many.
My Chrysler 300 gets 32 to the gallon on the highway.
On the highway.
That's what I'm talking about.
See, it all changes. And when you stop and this opens a big can of worms for me because when they put out those statistics when they test an automobile for miles per gallon or how long you can go on a gallon of gas, it's all done under pristine conditions. And it's a non-loaded vehicle. You're not loading it up with a bunch of people, a bunch of products, goods, and weight, and so on and so forth. Wind, other variances. The weather plays a big effect on your ability to get. So under perfect conditions, yes, you can put that sticker on the window that says it gets 30 miles to the gallon, which I've yet to really see one, but most of them will come out with about 20 plus miles to the gallon. But in reality, you end up getting about 16, 18 miles per gallon under normal driving conditions. Other than highway conditions once you reach cruising speed. But then again, you got to adjust the factor in there that you're constantly slowing down, speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, which all affects that standard. And if you are on a flat piece of highway, there's no other cars on the roadway with you, and you set your cruise control on 55 miles per hour, you will get 30 miles to the gallon. But you go above 55 miles per gallon, your mileage will drop, and if you put traffic on the highway, your mileage will drop. You put wind on the highway, your mileage will drop, and so on and so forth. Now that's a proven fact, because why do race car drivers drive within inches of each other? What do they call that, Craig?
Drafting.
What do they call that when they're...
Yeah, drafting.
There you are, drafting. Thank you. I couldn't remember. It's called... People will ride the bumper of semis because there's dead air for about 15 feet behind a semi. And it will improve your gas mileage. So, yes, there are ways we can do it, but you're going to kill yourself, too, if that truck decides he's going to stop. Anyway, that's all mute information.
Anyway, what I'm talking about, any way you slice it, any way you dice it, cars today are more fuel efficient than they were 25 years ago. They're putting out less emissions.
The only thing I say about the cars of today is they put out cleaner air. I don't think they're any more efficient. I just think they put out cleaner air because of all the crap that's got to go through the engine, through what your emission has to go through, the converter and everything else. You may have a cleaner atmosphere, or exhaust, but I don't think your efficiency has improved that dramatically.
Okay, I mean, we can sit here. I can already tell you that I've calculated 4 trips, 4 hours at 75 miles an hour, and average 31.5 miles to the gallon. I'm getting the same performance from a 6-cylinder that most people were getting from 8s, or better performance. And I've looked at a lot. Tractor and trailers, loaded tractor and trailers, are getting almost twice the fuel mileage that they were getting.
Notice those tractors and trailers? They've got fins on them. They've got skirts on them. They've got all kinds of things that they have built onto their vehicles in order to reduce the wind resistance.
It doesn't matter how you get there if you get there.
I understand that, but what I'm telling you is that science will tell you that you can get 30 miles to a gallon if you follow all the rules or take all the measures to make sure that in other words, if you're driving in a vacuum and you don't put any excess weight in the vehicle, so on and so forth, it all makes a difference. And even flying an airplane, you have a loaded aircraft or an empty aircraft, how much is going to burn more fuel? Which one's going to burn more fuel? The loaded aircraft.
Well, that's why they have those stickers on the windows that they give the high miles per gallon, and then they always put your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
I'm still telling you the mileage today is better than it was 25 years ago.
I kind of have to agree with Big D on that. Yes, it is to a degree. It's not like they say it is, but yes, the engines burn cleaner. Like Bill says, the exhaust is a lot more clean. They're pumping out horsepower out of six-bangers that V8s used to give.
And I guarantee you, when I was a teenager, if I put the pedal to the metal, I could squeal tires halfway down the block without even batting an eye. You take any car off the showroom floor today and you put the pedal to the metal and you will not squeal the tires.
That's right.
Any car?
Any car.
Well, other than the Mustangs and Cobras that are already pumped up from the factory.
Right. I mean, you take a Ferrari, you take a, what's the other one that most everybody likes? The
Lamborghini?
No, well, that's one of them too, but it's right on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, you're getting my point. There are cars, yes, that have significant horsepower.
But
I'm talking about the family car.
That's right. The old family cars, you could almost smoke the tires.
Absolutely.
Some of them you could. And nowadays, a family car, that isn't going to happen.
No, I just go 0 to 70 in 6.5 seconds.
But when they throw turbos on them, they're throwing turbos on these little four-bangers and getting incredible horsepower out of them.
I don't have a turbo.
When I get on the interstate with my pickup and my big V8 in it, and I want to switch lanes, and someone behind me decides they want to speed up to keep me from getting ahead of them, I just stomp my big V8 and I walk right by them. They might have all kinds of power as stoplights because they're geared way down for them little four-bangers and six-bangers. But on the highway, I pump that V8 and I just walk right away from them.
Speaking of car technology that never worked, do you guys remember that system that Cadillac came out with, the 468?
They still have that in a car.
And it still doesn't work.
Okay. Because I just talked to someone recently that they told me they have that. And I said, holy cow, they had that years ago. You know what he's talking about, Bill?
Yes.
Did you ever drive?
Your only time you're running on 8 cylinders is when you're taking off, and then it drops off as you get up to cruise speed and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
D, aren't you talking about the one that the crankshaft actually disengaged the cylinders?
I don't remember. All I know is that once you got up to like cruising speed on the highway, supposedly you were only burning gas in 4 cylinders.
Right.
Well, the way they do it now is they drop the spark in cylinders.
Right.
So that you're not. Well, Cadillac came out years ago, and I'm like 90% sure. I wish Mr. Kit was on here. I'm like 90% sure that the crankshaft actually not disengaged, but kind of like a clutch thing on it, so that the piston stopped moving in the back cylinders of the V8, and the engine was absolutely horrible. I'm almost sure that the owners could take their car back, and Cadillac would put a decent engine in the thing. It just didn't work.
Yeah, that was
next time, Mr. Kit.
Yeah, we have to get Mr. Kit on here.
Yep.
There's several factors out there. I mean, there are several makes of vehicles that still run that technology, that when you're not needing the power, a part of your engine disengages. And I don't remember what makes they are, but it really was, it didn't work to the potential that they had thought it would, and so a lot of them have abandoned it. Maybe it was more costly to make those engines, I don't know. But the fact remains, I think they're looking strongly towards the electric car, and I do think that you'll eventually see a vast majority of electric cars in city driving. I don't think you'll see it on highway driving. You won't see it in semis, but
biggest. Oh, I was gonna say real quick. The biggest problem that you have with electric cars is the lack of mileage per charge. They've got electric.
I think over time that will improve.
Well, I agree over time, but at the rate they're going, they're going now, in 20 years they're still not going to have it.
Well, in 23 years they claim that they'll be able to do away with gasoline and diesel burning fuel, because by then they should have it perfected. Now, my granddaughter's electric car recharges when you put your foot on the brake. And I said, so what do? Drive down the road with one foot on the brake and one on the gas to improve your power on your battery? No, of course not. But I said, well, why did they make it that it's only charging when you apply the brakes?
What it's doing is it's recovering energy.
Yeah, well, whatever it is. But I'm sure they'll perfect that technology as they continue to work on it. And I do believe that they'll perfect it to the point where you will see more people drive. Because, well, and look what, the gas prices have come way down. And that affects people's attitudes well. I mean, when the gas was up around $4.50 per gallon, people were thinking really serious about these electric cars. But now that gas has dropped back down to $2 a gallon, we're not so worried about that.
Well, have you ever noticed, though, one of the big drawbacks to these electric cars is the fact that they ride like crap?
That's irrelevant.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. People pass up that kind of stuff for efficiency. I mean, if you're living on a family budget like we are today, and it's only going to get worse with the development of more robots, people are going to be more budget conscious, and they'll give up the ride for, the glide, so to speak, because, you take the comfort of a Cadillac over the comfort of, there's nothing wrong with my Chevy. The way it rides as good as as
Cadillac. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about cars like the Volt, like the Leaf. When you can take one of these little Kias, these little box vehicles, and they ride fairly decent. But to me, these little electric cars, most of them are very uncomfortable. They don't drive worth a flip. And people that I've talked to that have been in them for more than about 40 or 50 miles say they can't wait to get out of it.
Right now, the electric car, in my opinion, is designed for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is around town driving. It's not designed for the long haul. It's like people that ride bicycles. Oh, I'm close enough to work, I'm just going to buy a bicycle and ride my bicycle to and from work.
You guys mentioned...
In a big city, a lot of people do. A lot of people... Remember the scooter move? Everybody was buying scooters to get to and from work when the gas was up to $4. You think those scooters are comfortable for a long haul? But yet they bought them because gas was $4 a gallon, so I'll buy me a scooter and I can drive to and from work.
We're not talking about to and from work, Bill. I'm talking about you deciding to go visit Craig.
What about it?
I don't care. If you were to drive an electric car to go see Craig, if you drive one of these Volts or one of these Leafs to go see Craig, halfway there, you'd be in pain.
I don't think it would make it in one shot, would it?
No, first of all, it won't make it in one shot, and secondly, by the time you got there, you would not want to drive back. Yeah, and so So by telling everybody they're going to go electric,
you're just passing off your attitude because you have never liked the thought of an electric car right from the get-go, and there's no way that you're ever going to be convinced that a electric car will ever prove. Now, my granddaughter, she absolutely loves her car. She knows exactly how far she can drive with it, and and it only takes 30 from a dead charge to a full charge is 30 minutes. That's time enough to go in and have a hamburger and french fries at McDonald's, and you're back on the road for another 110 miles.
She can charge her battery in 30 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't know where you can charge them that fast.
It is a 30-minute charge to go from dead to full.
Then she's the first person I've heard of that can do it.
Sorry.
Because most of these cars, they tell you charge the battery overnight.
Nope. Takes a 30-minute. She can charge in 30 minutes, according to her. I haven't driven it. I haven't ridden in it yet, but I'm just telling you.
Well, no, they've got electric cars.
Absolutely loves her car.
But they've got.
What car is it?
I couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you.
But they've got. I mean, they're coming out with electric cars that are absolutely incredible. But what the biggest problem is that wait till she has to replace the batteries.
You see, and again, it's like everything else. It's like I tried to tell you 2 weeks ago. Same thing with the airbag. They didn't put airbags in cars for years because they were too expensive to replace. Now
I just do not feel the technology is there right now
it's not. It's why they said by 2040.
I don't believe by 2040 they'll have it perfected.
You ain't going to be around long enough to know anyway, so
they'll have it by 2040.
Absolutely. I honestly believe that.
Not at the rate they're doing it now.
A lot sooner than that.
All right. Speaking of, that was a great segue. Here's a little bit for you. Have you heard?
I'm going to break.
Well, this won't take just a second. Have you heard what the president of France has now said? Bill?
What?
He is going to rule France as a Greek god. And I'm not making this up, folks. You go check it out. Go look up news service. Go look up all your news services. He has equated himself to a Greek god.
Well, he has
decided to pass rules and laws and regulations because the lawmakers of France are stupid and can't comprehend his thoughts.
And how many people in the United States do you know that are exactly thinking the same thing?
Obama.
Well, there you go. That's what our politics is coming to. What's the big surprise?
But he actually came out and said it.
Well,
this guy's got a set of cojones that don't quit.
You got to give him credit. People are standing and listening.
But I loved what he told him. He said, I can't explain myself because you wouldn't understand my depth of
we'll
thought.
Find out whether he's president of France at the next election.
He may not make it that long.
Well,
go to break, Bill.
All right. With that, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back.
Oh, my love, I've wandered far from home. I've called you as my own, but still you run from me into another's arms. Oh, child, lift up your face, feel my embrace, and know that love will break the shadows of the night. Awake to life, oh, sleep, arise and live in glorious freedom. From dead to life, child, open your eyes and
far from grace. Feel my hands inside. Know that you are mine. Oh, child, remember my love. The heart that I've shown. And see my love for you. You're never left alone. We come alive, breathing us new life. We're awakening inside. We come alive, you awaken us inside. To life, oh, sleep, arise and live. Glorious freedom. From death to life, child, open your eyes and wake. Glorious freedom. We're awakening. We're awakening to life. Come alive. Breathing us through life. We're awakening. We're awakening inside. Come alive. You awaken us inside.
Rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, chug, chug, chug. If this is how your car is sounding, you need to call 815-544-0537. That's right, my friends. Belvedere Auto Clinic, located 301 West Locust Street, Belvedere, Illinois. Call and ask for Tom. He can make your car run like new. That's right. Belvedere's best-kept little secret is Belvedere Auto Clinic. You need to call today, 815-544-0537. Come on, do it now.
Whether looking to buy a vehicle or in need of repairs, State Street Auto Rebuilders specialise in restoration, street rod building, collision repair and towing, as well as being a used car dealership and rentals. Located at 420 Fairview Street, Belvedere, Illinois, State Street Auto Rebuilders have been in business since 1982. For quotes and service, telephone State Street Auto Rebuilders on area code 815-544-7013.
Time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Only half of adults in the U.S. get the 2.5 hours per week of aerobic physical activity recommended for health benefits. Walkers are more likely to get the recommended amount. More adults are walking, but better spaces and more places are still needed. Communities can promote walking when they create long-range plans, such as master plans, and design safe streets for walkers. Communities can also ensure sidewalks and paths are in good repair and have easy-to-read signs. Employers can create walking programs, encourage walking breaks in meeting, and identify nearby paths or routes. Increase your physical activity by starting a walking group. Participate in local planning for walking paths and new sidewalks, or work with parents and schools to encourage walking to school where it's safe. For more information, visit www.cdc.gov/vital signs.
Sweet Kathy's live most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. Look, Kathy's only seen the sights the girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day. Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet roots, and quick Suzette. Our Patty loves to rock and roll, Oscar makes her lose control. What a wild duet, till they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
And we are back here live in our studios located at 221 North Main Street, Belvedere, Illinois, at the corner of Lincoln and Main Street. We are located inside, in the back, in the basement of our Family of Faith First Presbyterian Church. Now, when I say in the basement, that doesn't mean they stuck me down in some hole in the back of the church. I mean, the basement is where our fellowship hall is. Part of it is below ground level. Only half of my studio is below ground level. So, but we like to make fun of it. You stuck me down there in a hole in the basement, but that's not true. That's not true. But we are located at our Family of Faith First Presbyterian Church, and that's where you can hear live worship services every Sunday beginning at 9:30 a.m. right here on BNNS Radio. And we encourage you to tune in, and if you can't worship at your local church, join us here on BNNS Radio. We had a great experience yesterday. Pastor Kopp interviewed his son, who is a lawyer, a new lawyer that just graduated from a University of Kansas or whichever college or university it is down in Kansas that he was attending. And I didn't take any notes, so I'm not certain exactly what university he was attending. But he was here, and they talked and they about his Christian life and what it was like to be a preacher's kid. It was an interesting message that was given yesterday. And you can get that every Sunday right here on BNNS Radio. Also, you heard rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, chug, chug, chug. That's how your car sounds, you can take it to Tom down there at Belvedere Auto Clinic, and he'll make it run like new. And if you can't get it there, then you can go give a call to State Street Auto Rebuilders, and they will tow it there for you. And or if your car is in a crunch-up mix-up with another vehicle, then Mr. Kit down at State Street Auto Rebuilders can make it look like new. So where Tom can make it run like new, Mr. Kit can make it look like new. And those are just two of our sponsors. Michael Nagvi from Ada Electronics, along with Pacemaker Foods, is a great sponsor. And if you want to be a sponsor and you want to get your name mentioned, I apologize and failed to mention, Pacemaker Foods has always been a good, faithful, contributing sponsor of BNNS Radio. And they serve great, great chicken at their deli. They have a little deli restaurant in the back of the grocery store. And Pastor Bob and I like to go eat there, and they have great, great chicken. And a lot better than Colonel Sanders, let me tell you. And anyway, there are good sponsors. If you want to sponsor this show, you can do so too by joining us at 815-544-2967. 815-544-2967. If you have an opinion, if you disagree with D&I on this electric car thing or climate control or climate change and all this, that, and the other, hey, give us a call. We'll put you on the air. We'll give you an opportunity to speak your piece or speak your mind, whatever. And again, we want to say thank you to all of our sponsors out there that take care of BNNS Radio and keep us online. Right now in Belvedere, we're sitting at 70 degrees, still overcast. Haze has gone away, but the overcast remains as there's a 90% humidity and the winds are out of the southwest at 7 miles per hour. And we have the threat of thunderstorms or at least rain throughout the day. They're saying heavy thunderstorms, but could be significant. We've got 11 degrees to go to reach 81 for our high today. Winds pick up to about 13 miles per hour, and that's what it looks like for us here in the Belvedere area for pretty much the rest of the week. We've got predictions almost the whole week for additional rain. 84 degrees right now in Omaha, feels like 86. They have some scattered clouds, but otherwise a lot of sunshine, northwest winds at 8 miles per hour, 55% humidity. High today, okay, hold on to your hats, folks, 93 in Omaha today. And I'm sure there's going to be a heat index with that as the humidity, well, their humidity is going to stay around the 60% mark, so it's not going to be too awful bad. Northwest winds at 11 miles per hour. And Big D's going to tell us what it's like down in the southeast, down around the Georgia area. If you learn how to push buttons,
yes,
or get a game, whatever.
The buttons wasn't a problem. I had to quit laughing. Here at the double-wide underground Wonder Bunker in Franklin, Georgia, is currently 76 degrees under partly cloudy skies, and thank God it is not supposed to rain today, which doesn't mean much. We're showing partially scattered showers throughout the southeast. 78 degrees at Dolphin Island, Alabama, 60 degrees and partly cloudy in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and 69 and overcast in Farmington, New Mexico. Now back to you.
Somebody said you're in the fart bunker.
Yeah. I've got 9 exhaust fans.
Well, maybe they meant down here. By the way, Perry nailed it again with my little surprise TV theme song.
Yeah, Kissing Cousins.
Coming out of break. What's that?
Kissing Cousins.
Kissing Cousin.
Isn't that the name of the show?
No.
What was it?
The Patty Duke Show.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I guess she could have been a kissing cousin. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, are you aware that Colin Kaepernick is back in the headlines again?
Barely.
Well, he refused to celebrate the 4th of July, and he decided to spend his 4th of July in Africa.
Yeah.
Because he said, well, let's just put it this way. Football player Colin Kaepernick refused to celebrate the 4th of July, choosing instead to travel to Ghana, to experience true independence. I didn't know they were independent down there. Kaepernick, famous for kneeling during the national anthem, released a video Tuesday showing his travels to the African nation. He visited his home of Ghana because he could not celebrate a day that oppressed the rights of his ancestors in America. How can we truly celebrate Independence Day on a day that intentionally robbed our ancestors of theirs? To find my independence, I went home, Kaepernick tweeted. Now, my question to Mr. Kaepernick is, doesn't he feel pretty independent and doesn't he realize the freedoms that he has to be able to go out and play football?
Oh, but see, that's the thing, Bill. It's because love and all of this didn't go back all the way to the Stone Age. So everything since the Stone Age is wrong, racist, and everything.
Well, if he thinks that Ghana or Africa is so free and independent, why doesn't he move there? Don't they play some kind of a sport down there?
Yeah, but they're free and independent to kill, rape, torture.
Yeah.
You know.
And aren't run by dictators?
Yeah.
Well, where's his independence?
Well, that's because the dictators let you pretty much just run around and do whatever you want.
I see.
Yeah.
So he can go down there and rape young girls and get away with it and come home and play football.
Whatever he wants to do, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. But that just infuriates me. I mean, you know, if a guy wants to make a statement by not standing or kneeling or whatever for the 4th of July, then, you know, okay, that's an American right.
But
to say that we don't have independence or we robbed him of his independence through his ancestors, that is, how much money does he make in this country?
That's where it's so much tripe. And like I said, we're going all the way back to the beginning of time because there's, you know, we just can't. Everything was wrong up until today, and we're going to make it all right tomorrow.
You said he went to Ghana?
Yeah.
I wonder how much money he took with him. Since he's calling that his home, I wonder how much money he took home to help them there.
Well, I think there was something. Kaepernick visited a local hospital, spent time with African children, and watched traditional African dances, according to the video. The locals welcomed him eagerly, hanging up signs reading, "Welcome home, Colin," and "Welcome to Tito, Nisa, and Colin. I am not African because I was born in Africa, but because Africa was born in me." The video ends with a quote from Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's Marxist first president.
Yep. And as long as he writes them big checks, he can go over there and be welcomed and all of that. Let him not write a big check for something. And he'll wind up in some warlord's hut, tied up till somebody pays.
I think it does go on and say something in that video that he did help with some kind of a donation, but
at least Oprah went over and tried.
Where did he make that money? Where did he make that money?
Made it right here, and could still be
in the non-independent United States. The ones that's robbing him of all his freedoms.
Yeah, let's don't talk about all the slaves that have been in the past and currently are in Africa. Let's don't talk about those.
No, of course not.
No. Hey, I got a good one for you guys, and this one's right in Chicago, Bill. The Chicago Zoo. You're going to like this one. On Thursday, the Center of Biological Diversity, a left-wing environmental group. And let me stop right there for a minute. What part of that one doesn't make sense to you? Biological Diversity Group, a left-wing environmental group. Distributed hundreds of endangered species condoms at the Chicago Lincoln Park Zoo. The condoms were distributed as part of the monthly Adults Night Out event and were paid for by the diversity group, the Endangered Species Condom Project.
What's the endangered species?
Well, I'm getting to that. This is good. According to the Endangered Species Condom Project website, the packaging on the condoms was designed to raise awareness about the relationship between population growth and the survival of animals. In addition to providing colorful artwork of endangered animals, the condoms included pithy little sayings to discourage having children.
Hey, we're not going back to the farmer and the sheep again, are we?
No. But some of these are cute. Wrap with care, save a polar bear. Before it gets hotter, remember the sea otter. And for the sake of the horned lizard, slow down, love wizard. Look, you idiots.
I read that headline and I didn't think it was worth reading.
You should have read it. Look, I just want to say this to the environmental group, Biological Diversity. Look, you idiots. You can put all the cute little animals you want on the cover of a condom package. You can put all the spiffy little sayings. But in the heat of passion, let me just advise you, most people don't even know they say Trojan. And the package is going to get torn so fast, they're not even going to have time to go back and reread it. Oh, dear God. What is it with these groups and condoms?
Well,
why is everything to do in the world linked with sex?
Because it is.
Sex sells.
And apparently it must.
I mean, look at the generation gap.
Yeah.
Look at the generation gap. The millennials coming up have two things on their mind. Making money and having sex. That's it. Or partying and having sex. Not too many of them want to work anymore.
Hey, we grew up, you two and I, we enjoyed sex.
You might have.
I still do.
What do you mean enjoyed?
Yeah,
I still do.
But
there you go, Craig.
But if we were going to buy a lawnmower, we wanted to know how much horsepower there was and how much grass you could cut in an hour. Now, people will buy anything if you put a scantily clad, large-breasted woman pushing that lawnmower. You'll sell 1,000 of them.
But come on, Big D, that was happening back in the 50s. Look how many black and white commercials there are for cars where there's nice-looking gals parading around in front of, even print ads from
I understand that.
It's the same thing.
No, I understand that.
No game shows, Craig. Go back to the original game shows.
Exactly.
When's the last time you saw a chunky babe going, ah?
Yeah, could you imagine Vanna White at 250?
There you go.
But
she's been on the air. How many years have they been on the air now?
Oh my God, she's been doing that for what, 35 years now?
It's got to be.
Yeah, and she's had 3 kids.
She's good looking.
But that's beside the point. Why can't we put a 250 200-pound, good-looking woman up there on the stage. Because people would complain. Somebody would get on Facebook and say, that is an insult to the oversized woman.
No, an insult to most oversized women is wearing them stretchy pants you shouldn't be wearing to start with.
Well, we're not going to Walmart today, so but my point is everything is based on sex, beauty, and
well, but now
are you watching this year's segment or this of Big Brother?
No, I don't watch that mess.
Well, every single woman on Big Brother this year is thin, beautiful, big-breasted, which they like to show, and that's what the show's all about. It's about the love affairs that goes on, plus every once in a while they throw in a fight, just to keep people interested.
Drama and soap opera.
Well,
That's
see,
what it is.
apparently I'm different than you guys because, yes, I do remember that TNA has been going on for years. But usually I couldn't tell you what the product was if there was a very cute woman in the ad.
That's right, because most people don't watch.
But if I wanted to buy a lawnmower, it was because I bought it because of its functionality of what it did. Now today, these young guys, why'd you pick that one? Oh, you should have seen the Babe in the commercial.
No, the Babe was out running the machine now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If that good-looking Babe can run that machine, my wife can run it.
Right up until she smacks you upside the head. But this thing, we started this about 10 or 15 years ago with these condoms, and it seems like condoms are the new billboards to me. Am I wrong? This is just another...
Yeah, I think you are, because...
It seems like they're trying to hand out condoms everywhere you go.
Yeah, but that story died years ago. Now, we've been on the air almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in October. And we've covered this story when they started passing out condoms at high schools and
middle schools,
whatever. But that has kind of died off. I think condoms is such a commonplace thing today that nobody's really interested anymore.
The shock value is gone from them.
The shock value is gone. You're absolutely right. They're looking for something new and innovative to, like Craig says, to shock people. And that's why shock videos on YouTube have become so popular, because people are into the weird. I mean, if you post I'll bet you if you posted a condom commercial on YouTube today, just promoting safe sex, not the bizarre type, revealing type of video, but if you just did something on YouTube to promote safe sex because you're a firm believer in safe sex, there's no way near would it go viral.
Yeah.
But you put some jackass on there who does something, just look at Nightly, look at TV. They're finding talent, so-called talent, on YouTube, and they bring it to television. We found this guy on YouTube because his video went viral. That's the big word. That's the big phrase today. If it goes viral, you're in.
Well, I still go back. I like that condoms have even been used as early as or as late as the Iraq War, when we went into Iraq. they were dropping supplies into the Iraqis. And they actually, as a psychological ploy, dropped a case of Magnum Trojans, the big ones.
Oh, wow.
And they marked them small.
Yeah, but you want to know what the truth of that is?
What?
You know why they were dropping condoms to the soldiers?
No, these weren't to the soldiers. These were to the Iraqis. They were dropping them in with the supplies, and they were marking these large condoms small. And claimed they were doing it as a psychological ploy.
I never heard that story, but I do know that on the list of needed supplies for the troops that were serving over in Iraq, one of the items on that list was condoms. And when I read that, I went, what? These guys aren't over there having sex with these Iraqi women and so on and so forth.
As hard as they could go.
But, what do you mean?
As fast as they could do it.
No, they weren't. You know what they were using the condoms for?
Oh, probably to protect their weapons.
Sure, they were putting it over the tips of their weapon to keep the sand out of the barrels.
Yeah.
And
I know guys that do that when they go hunting here in the wintertime and it's snowing.
Yeah.
They'll throw condoms over the top of their barrels to keep the snow and water out.
Yeah, I heard that for the first time from a veteran, and I couldn't believe it. But it makes sense.
Something that simple.
Something that simple.
But and as soon as you, and it doesn't impede.
When you hear the word condom, your mind goes to sex.
And the thing about it was, for people who may not understand, as soon as they fire the weapon, they don't even have to remove it. As soon as they fire the weapon, it's not even a factor anymore. When you're done.
Oh, now that explains the coroner's report. Oh, now I know. We found a bullet hole in his chest the size of a .44, but it had latex with it. We couldn't figure that out.
Speaking of YouTube, by the way, I do go by and I peruse through it. Couple of things have come to mind lately, or have come to fruition. We've been talking about Antifa, the anti-fascist movement. Oh my goodness.
Chad Russell.
Are they getting their butts handed to them all over the world? People are they are on video after video saying they have had enough. Because these men and women are not fighting fascism. They are fascism. They're communists. They're Islamic radicals. And the cops are starting to crack down. They're not allowing them to go into functions with their sunglasses on, hoodies up, bandanas over their faces. And consequently, it's starting to squelch several of the protests. But also they're finding that many people, and we're not talking about bikers, we're not talking about anything like that, I'm talking about everyday people, are starting to show up because they're tired of them. They're tired of the stupidity and the antics. Because they're just showing up to cause trouble. You almost cannot have a peaceful protest in a major city without Antifa showing up trying to incite some kind of altercation. So if you get over to YouTube, go check it out. Also, feminists have been fighting for women's rights. And they're starting to get them, and they don't like it. See, women used to love to attack a man. Just punch and hit and scratch and biting. All on the belief that you don't hit a woman. Well, according to YouTube, that's changing, and it's changing rapidly. Some of these women are going off on these men, and they're trying to get them to stop. And then all of a sudden, they'll land the wrong blow or something, and you got a woman laying on the ground, and if she's conscious, is usually laying there, oh, I can't believe you hit me, after she has smacked him numerous times.
Big D.
Yeah.
Daddy always told me, you never hit a lady. And I carried that one step further. The first time a woman hits me, she's no longer a lady, and I will pop her just as hard as I would pop any man.
Well,
do not hit me, because I am going to retaliate.
Well, see, a lot of guys would never hit a woman because, let's face it, pound for pound, muscle mass for muscle mass, we can hurt them.
Well, it's really simple. Just don't hit me, and I won't hit you.
But these women in these videos go crazy, and finally these guys, and they'll hit them or slap them or poke them in the eye or something, and that's it. And I was sitting here, I was laughing my butt off. Because the guy usually, as soon as he does it, steps away. He doesn't get angry and go over and start beating on her or anything. He just steps away.
But that's why the women hit the men, is because they know that they can get away with it.
Well,
they can act big and tough, kind of like a bully. Remember the old thing about a bully? As soon as you stand up to a bully, he'll back down. Well, it's kind of the same way with these women. If they know they can get away with it, they're going to bully you.
Well, according to interviews on this, guys are just getting tired of it. Especially black men are getting tired of being hit with shoes. They're just getting tired of it.
I don't get the shoe reference.
Oh, a black woman will jerk a shoe off and smack you in the head with it in a heartbeat. That's their thing. Yeah, that's their thing.
I never heard of that.
They'll pull a shoe off and whack you with it.
Well, I don't mean to throw water on anything, but what I mean, there's a whole sexual transition going on here. Women are invading men's territory at a rapid degree, and I think men feel threatened by women. Women are taking men's jobs left and right, and you see it every day. More and more women are sitting on boards. They're taking over corporations. They're joining fire departments, police departments. They're working construction crews. I mean, you remember the old cartoon favorite is the construction crew sitting down for their break and making hot shot comments to all the hot broads that walked by and so on and so forth. That day is over, because they got the hot bods sitting next to them making comments about the hot man bodies going by. Yeah. And I think men are feeling threatened by women, and women are standing up to men. Where women used to feel inferior to men, they're now feeling more inferior, if you want, whatever word you want to use. By the way, we forgot to say good morning to Liz. Liz is in the chat box with us today. She's on a tablet where her daughter is in summer school right now. So we just wanted to say welcome to Liz. But no, I think women are taking over, and men feel intimidated. So
you said women are doing more and more stuff than men are doing, and it's kind of like sports. Here recently, they're talking about a tennis match, male against female, kind of like Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King way back when. Well, they're still going to do it with the woman's rules.
Yes.
Not men's rules. And it got me thinking, okay, women think they're just as able to do sports as men. Well, let's get rid of absolutely there are no more female baseball teams. There are no more male. They're not male baseball teams. It's, if you qualify, then you play. Same way with football. Pro football. If a woman thinks she can do just as good as a man, get a woman in there.
Oh, well, what about the...
But you have to go with the rules that you play the same rules and you get hit just as hard.
But what about all these complaints of these so-called transgender women that are actually men trying to compete, and the women are saying it's not fair?
Exactly.
I've been reading several news articles on that stuff. You can't,
well,
if you're gonna be a feminist and you want to be equal to men, then quit whining.
Well, there was, gosh, I wish I would have saved this article, but there was a transgender male to female was knocking the men as sexist if they refused to make out with a transgender.
Well, then I'm just going to have to be sexist.
I mean, it was ridiculous. If a man refuses to make out with a transgender, then that was, you were being a whatever, you know. It's sickening. It's getting ridiculous. The whole world's out of control, and it takes people like you and I to keep it in straight. And hey, listen, the last couple minutes of the show, I want to encourage all of our listeners within driving range of Belvedere, whether you're listening on the radio at 87 or 87.9 on the FM dial, or if you're in the Belvedere area, please support our sponsors by visiting their places of business and let them know that BNNS Radio, you heard about them on BNNS Radio, so that they continue to support us and keep us live and on the air. We want to thank you for your participation in the show, whether it's through the chat box or just purely listening, because we love listeners. And welcome to all of our YouTube. Tell your friends about us. Let's go viral on YouTube for a change, okay? You know, that's the thing today, to go viral, right? Let's just have one viral show if we can do that. So with that, Uncle Bill says thank you for joining us on this Monday, the 10th day of July for 2017. We'll be back again tomorrow with another interesting show with a lot more topics to cover and a lot more things to talk about. God bless you. God bless America. God loves you. Always has and always will. Don't ever forget that. See you tomorrow. Big D.
All right, this has been another 2 hours of the morning show with Uncle Bill, the guy that knows everything, sees everything, and can tell you most of it. Hey, we'd like to thank Craig, our crack research staff, and me, your co-host, Big D. Hey, get out there, research, and make yourself smarter. Things will look a lot different. And if you like, don't forget, BNNS Morning Radio is now on YouTube on BNNS Radio. Yes, we have our own site now, so get over there, check it out, and enjoy us. Y'all talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Belvedere's Network News and Sports Radio, bringing you the best in Internet radio. That's BNNSradio.com. All day, every day. BNNSradio.com. Stay tuned to BNNS Radio for more great shows like Cop Disclosure, The Morning Show with Uncle Bill, focused on mental health, and the ever-popular Belvedere Sports Huddle and Belvedere City Council. All here on BNNSradio.com and 87.9 on the FM dial. BNNS Radio. Radio of the future.
You are listening to BNNS Radio, Belvedere's Network News and Sports Radio.